Dr. Manisha Priyam, Sajjan Kumar, Javed Ansari join us now. Let me go straight to Manisha Priyam first. Manisha Priyam, 121 seats. Interesting battle, certainly. When you look at the battlegrounds, it's Raghupur, Tarapur. Tarapur in particular was a JDU citadel. That's where Deputy Chief Minister Samrat Chaudhary is contesting from. And of course, then you have the battle playing out in Mokama.
I think today's elections are the most important elections. They are happening in the most important areas of Magadh, Shahabad, in Patna, as also across the river on the other side in areas of Chhapra, etc. So very, very important. Campaigning has come to an end. These seats that you talk about are very important. But even more important is the fact that at this point of time, it does seem even, Steven. Battle lines are drawn, fairly pitched on both sides. And one would say that what had looked like a very easy NDA-oriented election seems to be much more closely contested, keenly contested. These bastions that you talk about, Tarapur is a Shakuni Chaudhary family fiefdom, not as much a JDU fiefdom as it is their family fiefdom. Mokama also, the Tal area, a fiefdom of Anand Singh. So I would say political parties have been important, but local feisty leaders have been far more important. Therefore, it tells you that big political parties have required the support of what is popularly known as Bahubalis, but somehow in the Bihar politics, they keep coming back. The question to be asked is that in this election where we see so much coming from such tall and stalwart leaders on the NDA side, you have the Honorable Prime Minister, the Honorable Home Minister, Nadda ji leading the campaign and many others, but still these are very, very important. And I think it is also important to see that Samrat Chaudhary of the BJP, Anand Singh of the JDU, so one has to see what kind of firecrackers are blowing up, whether within the alliance that has been stitched together on the NDA side or on the Mahagathbandhan side, whether what has been stitched up with the Congress and the RJD is working well or not. At this point, Prashant Kishore's name not being taken much, such a strong media presence, especially as he had claimed that he would fight the Raghupur seat. At this point, it seems it may safely go home for the incumbents and the strong electoral relationships of the family there. So I would say this election, once again, even in the absence of the tall leaders, Lalu Prasad Yadav, and a somewhat fading twilight political years of Nitish Kumar, they remain very, very important in defining the political arena. But at this point of time, best wishes to the electorate and
Absolutely.
the voters. Let them quietly decide in the next 24 hours which way they want to go.
Yes, and it's interesting, Manisha Priyam, having traveled several parts of this beautiful state, my home state of Bihar, that the contradictions also are emerging, that we aren't really seeing a very vociferous Yadav or the minority community. We are seeing the silent voters of Nitish Kumar speak out, and they are no longer silent. So it's interesting to see those contradictions playing out as we read the big trend ahead of the crucial first phase, which will be on 6th. Javed Ansari, your opening thoughts while we talk about Mokama, Tarapur, and Patna urban and important constituencies. There is also an interesting high voltage battle playing out in Mahua. That's where Tej Pratap Yadav, the elder son of Lalu Yadav, the brother of Tejasvi Yadav, is contesting from.
Yes, indeed he has. And yesterday I saw a clip where his mother extended her good wishes, saying, "Look, I'm a mother and I wish him well. If he's trying to carve a niche out for himself, so all the best, more strength to his elbows." Be that as it may, you made a very significant point saying that for the first time, the Yadavs and the Muslims are very low-key. They are not in your face. This is not necessarily a disadvantage for the Mahagathbandhan because it is their flamboyance in the past, especially the Yadavs, which used to put off the EBCs and the other backward castes. Whether this is deliberate or purely by a coincidence, I'm not so sure. But I do know that when Prashant Kishore was managing the election on behalf of the Mahagathbandhan, he had made a conscious word had been sent out that minorities should take a back seat. So perhaps they have now taken a leaf out of this. As far as what these leaders have been saying, it's look, given the way this election is poised, everything will depend, in my view, whether or not the Mahagathbandhan can wean away some of the EBC and Mahadalit votes, if indeed they can, and that's why I would look at what Rahul Gandhi has said in that context. It's a focused outreach to these communities to try and look at the Mahagathbandhan more favorably this time than they have done in the past.
Okay. So essentially, Jitni abadi utna hak is the pitch that has come in again from Rahul Gandhi just ahead of the first phase of polls on 6th. Sajjan Kumar, I'm looking at alliances and how the stakes are stacked up. Party-wise, NDA, JDU is contesting 57 of these 101, BJP 48, LJP 13. On the other hand, in Mahagathbandhan, RJD is contesting on 71 because, of course, overall they are contesting on 143 seats, the highest among all the political parties this time around. Left 14 and the Congress 24. So, like always, it is turning out to be a RJD versus JDU contest.
Yes, precisely. As in 2020, you saw. Yeah. So, as in 2020, we witnessed that RJD and JDU were in direct context on majority of seats, and JDU was at the receiving end because on every seat JDU contested against RJD. LJP of Chirag Paswan sliced away 10 to 11%, which means 15 to 20,000 votes on an average, right? So that was the significant loss. This time also you see that JDU and RJD are facing each other off on a majority of the seats. Now, how the arithmetic is stacked right now? Forget about the big guns. This time on the ground, you find that while Tejasvi and Congress tried to slice away the EBC vote, that is Nitish Kumar core constituency, away from JDU and NDA, something that we do not see happening overwhelmingly in Bihar. This is one very significant. Why? Because EBCs are dependent upon the welfare schemes. They have little aspirations, which they think the current incumbent regime is satiating. They may have higher aspiration, but then you need the trust on the leader. Now, the trust on the leader is also related to their support base on the ground. Now, to that extent, Tejasvi also tried to reach out to them along with Rahul Gandhi. The problem is that Tejasvi's support base, his own community on the ground, in everyday experience of the EBCs, still as an intimidating factor. And that is why they are not willing to trust Tejasvi and jump the gun. Right now is an election which is overwhelmingly about status quoism, barring few pockets. I'm not denying that, barring few pockets. It is about
Okay.
Gathbandhan voters are relying on Tejasvi.
Sajjan, I'll request you to
Nitish
fix
Kumar
your
core constituency overwhelmingly.
Okay, I'll request you to fix your audio. There is a problem with your network. In the meanwhile, let me bring in Manisha Priyam again. Manisha Priyam, Biharis are known for being status quoist. That is perhaps also with little they feel satisfied. Their level of aspirations are different from various other people of other states. Perhaps, generations ahead of the present generation was very different. We migrated out of Patna for education and for job opportunities. I've been speaking to a lot of youth here in the various parts, and the sense is that Sarkari Naukri, that aspiration for Sarkari Naukri is something that is almost embedded, it seems like. They're not talking about IT parks that is there in Gurgaon or in Hyderabad or in Bengaluru. They're very realistic dreams, dreams which are very minimum. You know, that's what I sensed this time around, Manisha Priyam.
Maria, let me join you here as a Bihar ki beti. And what I remember is that when I dreamt or aspired, my dreams were minimal by standards of today. I used to live in the rural areas ahead of Chhapra.
Yes.
And my parents had one aspiration to get me to an English medium school. But my father practiced the politics of Karpuri. If you remember those days, Karpuri ji was against the use of English language as a medium. So I had a dual life of studying in an English medium school, but father doing a politics that believed that English was not the language. Now, then once again, the second class compartment of the train brings us to Delhi and gets us to our aspirations. I think it was class all the way. We were and continue to be defined by our poverty.
Yes.
The levels of average poverty in Bihar measure up to sub-Saharan Africa. I'm surprised how these dreams are so beautiful. If you see that Gandhi Maidan, where I heard the speeches of Karpuri once while the emergency was at its height, or Jayaprakash Narayan, that has become from 5 a.m. in the morning. Barefoot youngsters are running for the physical examinations for various bhartis. The government job aspiration is for security and social status. For a society that has stopped according social mobility of any kind, it is not possible to change the caste structure. The only social mobility you get is if you get a Sarkari Naukri, then the caste tag ceases to matter. Remember,
Yes.
Lots of Biharis, including me, gave up their surnames, and we are Priyam, Gautam, or many other similar surnames that don't tell the world. In fact, Nitish Kumar, Laluji for the longest time did not use the caste surname, Jayaprakash Narayan. We gave up caste, but the society did not. The only social mobility that comes is through government jobs. Lastly, I would like to tell you, and it's not being spoken about, which is that agriculture is in distress. How do landless laborer, whose only way out is to
Yes.
work in the tilling fields, in the sun and in makhana fields. Now, if there is untimely wilted away, how do you do cutney? Now, the only way to give
I'm proud of being poor. I'm proud of who we
All
are.
right.
And these are
Manisha Priyam. Okay. Manisha Priyam, really come to the end of this show. Thank you for joining us.